News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Ed Kalegi. Wall Street staged a rebound after the Treasury said it plans to boost buybacks of longer-dated bonds, a signal the U.S. wants to lower borrowing costs after yields hit multi-decade highs. The Wednesday numbers on Wall Street, the Dow gained 119, NASDAQ was up 41, the S&P 500 added 16. The 10-year Treasury yield stands at 4.63%, the 2-year yield at 4.16%. Checking oil, West Texas Intermediate is at 85.42. Brent crude is at 87.08. The tentative trade deal between the U.S. and Canada would lower tariffs on certain Canadian exports of steel and aluminum to 25%. This according to people familiar with the matter. The details have yet to be finalized and are not expected to apply across the board. Different rates could apply to some derivative products that include those metals. Talks between U.S. and Canadian trade advisors continued Wednesday, less than 24 hours after President Trump paused planned 50% levies on billions of dollars of Canadian goods to allow more time to negotiate. The planned changes to the metals tariffs could help unlock a lasting deal to avert the broader duties before Friday deadline. A record of the central bank's most recent policy debate showed several Federal Reserve officials favored an interest rate hike last month, while many indicated that policy tightening would be necessary if inflation did not decline. Bloomberg's Michael McKee with more on what is in the minutes.
Two lines of general agreement stand out. Many participants assessed that policy tightening would likely be necessary if inflation did not decline. Now, remember, this meeting took place after the June CPI report that showed inflation had declined more than anticipated. And participants judged that their inflation outlooks were highly uncertain and that inflation risks were skewed to the upside. Many participants noted that the recent re-escalation of the conflict in the Middle East significantly clouded the inflation outlook.
Also on possibly going from 8 to 6 meetings.
Chairman Warst suggested 6 scheduled meetings per year to the committee, held roughly every 2 months, saying that would allow more information to accumulate between meetings and provide policymakers and staff with more time to consider what he called strategic policy issues. Warsh asked for input from the committee, and no decision was reached at the meeting other than there would be no changes made this year.
Bloomberg's Michael McKee. The U.S. Treasury unexpectedly announced it is ramping up buybacks of long-dated government debt, taking the action in the wake of yields on such securities hitting the highest levels in years. Just 2 weeks after releasing its planned schedule for buybacks this quarter, the Treasury Department Wednesday said it's increasing by at least double the size of liquidity support buyback operations for securities dated from the 10-year to the 30-year sector. Ira Jersey is chief U.S. rates strategist at Bloomberg Intelligence.
This is a little bit like maybe the beginning of a larger coordinated effort between issuance or buybacks and other things to try to arrest the sell-off that we've seen in the long end of the yield curve. One of the problems, though, that the Treasury is going to have is this doesn't do anything for the deficit. It doesn't improve the deficit at all, so there's still going to be a lot of issuance. It's just a matter about where along the curve it's going to be.
Ira Jersey with Bloomberg Intelligence. Former St. Louis Fed President Jim Bullard on the buyback.
The market reaction suggests that this is an important tactical move from the Treasury, a little bit unexpected, so you're probably getting an outsized reaction right now. But I don't think it changes the fundamentals of big fiscal deficits and a Fed on the sidelines, which is what's driving longer-term yields higher.
The move follows a bond sell-off this week that saw the 30-year hit its highest yield since 2007. Right now it's at 5.19%. The biggest stock story of the day was Moderna. Those shares closed up 176% after the mRNA vaccine maker reported positive results in a late-stage trial of its personalized melanoma vaccine with Merck's Keytruda. Madison Muller covers healthcare for Bloomberg News.
At the risk of sounding like a total nerd, a really big and important moment in science. This is something that scientists have been chasing for almost a century, is a personalized cancer treatment, personalized cancer vaccine. And so we're seeing an mRNA cancer vaccine really succeed in the first large late-stage trial, like you said. So a win for cancer, a win for the companies.
Bloomberg's Madison Muller, and it's a win for Merck as well. Those shares closed up 12%. Target shares are up 5% after the big box retailer boosted its full-year guidance more than analysts expected. Bloomberg's Dan Curtis has more.
The company's projecting net sales to increase about 5% in the current fiscal year. That's up from 4%. Part of that includes nearly $1 billion of pre-tax tariff refund benefits. Company also adjusted earnings target after second quarter sales surpassed analyst estimates.
Bloomberg's Dan Curtis notes Target stock is up 56% already this year, and investors may be concerned those pre-tax tariff benefits won't last. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Ed Kalegi. This is Bloomberg.